At 2:14 in the morning, a silent scan beneath the Great Sphinx of Giza revealed a void where none should exist. The scanner beam cut through blackness, dust motes spinning in the light. Limestone texture and sand glinting, the ancient stone face unbroken. Seconds later, seismic data confirmed it was real. Teams with headlamps and ropes rushed to descend into an echoing shaft, risking reputation and safety. If a hidden chamber truly lies below Egypt's most closely guarded monument, what lost civilization built it? And why does every official narrative insist it is impossible? The answer begins with what they found next. Console lights flicker in the cramped data room, screens glowing with the after-image of the muon tomography scan. The technician's hand hovers over the mouse, pulse hammering. On the display, a shadowy absence cuts through the limestone beneath the Great Sphinx of Giza, a void clear as a wound, time-stamped at 2:14 hours. Data streams in rapid bursts, muon counts spike, density maps shift, and the anomaly holds steady. The room is thick with the smell of dust and static. No one speaks. Every eye tracks the numbers as they freeze, confirming the impossible. A lead climber, face streaked with sweat and stone powder, shoulders a coil of rope and heads for the base of the monument. The night air is heavy. The sand crunches under boots. Security lights sweep the Giza plateau, catching glimpses of the Sphinx, ancient and unmoved, as the team approaches the forbidden shaft. This opening, barely 0.9 meters wide, gapes between rough blocks, sealed off for decades by welded iron and official decree. Tonight the barrier stands open. Authorization or a moment of defiance, no one is sure. The climber checks the anchor, breathes in the sharp tang of limestone, and drops into the shaft. Dust billows, swirling in the beam of a headlamp. Every movement sends echoes ricocheting up the narrow throat of stone. The rope creaks, gloves scrape against the wall, and the air grows colder, older, as the descent continues. Sensors clipped to the harness transmit real-time data, temperature, air quality, the faintest hints of ancient minerals. The shaft plunges at a steep angle, walls slick with centuries of condensation and grit. A sudden ledge halts the descent. The climber steadies, heart pounding, and shines the light ahead. The void is real, open space where solid bedrock should be. But the path forward is blocked. A wall of stone, rough-hewn and silent, seals whatever lies beyond. No markings, no sound, only the weight of thousands of years pressing in from every side. Above, the technician logs the last transmission. Contact, threshold confirmed. Awaiting next move. Stone grinds against stone. The climber's gloved fingers trace the edge of the barrier. The wall is not rough like the shaft. It is cut with an unnatural precision. A faint seam runs across its face. Chisel marks almost erased by time. Above, the team lowers a compact drill. Pressure mounts. The first breach comes with a muted crack. Dust pours out, thick and ancient, swirling in the narrow beam of a flashlight. Darkness and light collide. Behind the wall, a corridor stretches into darkness. Its floor is unnaturally flat. The ceiling is squared off at sharp right angles. This is no natural fissure. 37 symbols are carved in a script that defies every catalogued Egyptian glyph. They run in a band along one side. The lines are deep. The edges are unweathered. Mystery hangs in the air. Graham Hancock's voice crackles over the radio, excitement barely contained. Robert Schoch stands by with a portable scanner and notes the glyph's odd morphology, neither Old Kingdom nor any known pre-dynastic form. Each symbol is tallied. Their arrangement hints at a language lost or deliberately concealed. Lost seems the only word that fits. The corridor angles northeast, measured at precisely 38 degrees from the Sphinx's axis. The team's mapping laser sweeps the walls, revealing faint grooves that seem to track toward the distant mass of Khufu's pyramid. Every step forward stirs a fine layer of silt, undisturbed for millennia. The sound is thin, like stone breathing. Laser light paints the dust. At the corridor's end, something glints in the lamplight. A lump of metal, half buried in dust. Cold to the touch. Heavier than copper. Dull grey, with a strange, almost oily sheen. A field spectrometer reports code 7F. The alloy does not match any known composition from Egypt's Bronze Age or Iron Age. A sample is sealed and tagged for analysis. Unknown now moves from theory to evidence. Back at the mobile lab, a materials scientist frowns at the scanning electron microscope. The metal's microstructure is a puzzle. Crystalline patterns that do not fit any catalogued alloy. Trace elements appear that should not exist in this geology. The analyst hesitates, then logs the result. XRF mismatch, code 7F. The corridor, the symbols, the metal, all point to a design and knowledge that should not be here. Puzzle is too small a word. The corridor's direction suggests a connection far larger than a single hidden chamber. The air in the shaft grows tense. Every discovery deepens the mystery, and the question hangs unspoken. What else lies beneath the Giza plateau? A digital overlay flickers to life across the Giza plateau, fusing LiDAR scans and NASA satellite data. The landscape transforms. A ghostly Nile snakes through the sand, traced in pulsing blue against present-day ruins. Dust drifts. Stone texture sharpens. A stone map appears, found deep in the corridor. An uncanny 92% alignment, confirmed by the remote sensing analyst. The map's grooves are carved in a hand older than dynasties. Tributaries and islands appear, landscapes erased from memory. In the margin, a faded patch of textile clings to the stone. Its dye is a chemical outlier. Forensic testing isolates a trace element never catalogued in Egyptian pigments. The analyst logs the file. #3C9A, locked for peer review, discovery. A hush settles as the next find emerges. In a shallow pit, pressed against the corridor wall, lies a skeleton. The bones are long. The skull is broad and oddly shaped. Features that do not match any known dynastic population. A forensic osteologist kneels in the dust, hands trembling as she brushes away the last grains. The burial is ancient. The body wrapped in a textile fragment stained with that same unknown dye. No amulet, no cartouche, Nothing to anchor it in the pharaoh's world. Only the silent witness of a life from a time before the Sahara was desert. Unidentified. Word of the find leaks before sunrise. A grainy phone video, metadata scrubbed, circulates on encrypted channels. Footage shows the bones, the map, the analyst console. Within hours, the file is gone, scrubbed from every platform. The original uploader is silent. Whispers swirl of a clampdown, of authorities moving to isolate the team. Zahi Hawass appears on state television, voice sharp, denouncing the leak as fabrication and warning of legal consequences. Behind closed doors, the forensic osteologist is summoned for questioning. The analyst's access is revoked. Battle lines are drawn, not just over data, but over who controls the story of Giza. The plateau's secrets are no longer buried in stone, but locked in a digital war for truth and power. Control. Lab doors slam, and the hum of servers fills the air. Dust motes spin in the glare of harsh fluorescent lights. The room smells faintly of ozone and old stone. 3 sealed envelopes, each stamped from a different continent, drop onto the work table. Inside, the results clash. Radiocarbon dating pins the textile at over 9,000 years old, older than any known Egyptian dynasty by 4,000 years. OSL readings taken from silt caked on the bone tell a different story. Last sunlight 4,700 years ago, when Khufu ruled and the pyramids were young. Mineral analysis, run twice for certainty, suggests the stone map's grooves were cut even earlier, in a climate that vanished before the Sahara's sands arrived. The numbers scrape against each other like stone on stone. Screens crowd the bench with figures, charts, and tight error bars. The lab director's voice is tight, eyes fixed on the digital clock as another round of cross-checks begins. A data scientist, arms folded, scrolls through the datasets. She highlights the gap. Carbon-14 and OSL are worlds apart. The room is tense, every expert defending their method, their calibration, their chain of custody. The numbers refuse to agree. The story of the Giza Plateau fractures, orthodox timelines against something far older, something stranger. In the next room, an AI model chews through terabytes of raw data, LiDAR sweeps, muon tomography, seismic echoes, and satellite overlays. Servers pulse like distant thunder. The algorithm, designed to find patterns where none should exist, lights up node after node beneath the sand. On the monitor, a grid sharpens into focus, 14 distinct points, each a possible chamber or intersection mapped in 3 dimensions. The network stretches from the Sphinx to the Great Pyramid, lines threading through bedrock, corridors predicted where no tunnel appears in any survey. The AI's path-finding logic, unburdened by human bias, draws a lattice that spans the entire plateau. Its reach impossible, its symmetry uncanny. The data scientist leans in, breath caught. If the model is right, the voids and shafts are only the surface. The Giza Plateau's secrets might not be a single chamber, but an entire system, an architecture lost to time, waiting beneath the stone, echoing in cool darkness. One question hangs in the stale lab air. If the numbers cannot agree on the past, how can anyone trust what is hidden in the dark? Today, the sands of Giza still conceal more than they reveal. New technologies are challenging official narratives, and the line between myth and history grows blurred. The Sphinx's secrets are not just ancient, they are a test of how much truth our world is willing to uncover beneath the surface.